About 3 years ago, I was in the office talking to one of my work colleagues, and he was telling me how he was quiet quitting. And I said, well, what's quiet quitting then? And about 2 years later, we'd both retired. So welcome to the channel. My name's Paul, and I talk about trying new things, retirement, personal experiences, and a bit of travel and stuff, and rants. So what is quiet quitting? Well, quiet quitting is when you become disillusioned and detached from your work. You no longer speak up in meetings, you don't do any overtime, you don't go for promotions. You're just basically going through the motions of your job. And I would say that 3 years ago, my friend has probably reached that full potential of quiet quitting, whereas I was nearly there, probably a year before I did retire, mostly quiet quitting. But I did still do overtime all the way until I did retire, but that might have just been because I needed money. There are a few theories of how many people are quiet quitting, but some say it could be anything between 20% and 60%, which is quite sad, really, isn't it? I mean, are you quiet quitting? Do you find yourself in that situation when you're at work where you're just giving the bare minimum or just going through the motions? If you are, maybe you should start thinking about changing things. Or maybe you just want to carry on just doing that until you do retire or whatever. But my experience of quiet quitting was, I think, when it came to promotions, I would go for quite a lot of promotions, and I never seemed to get anywhere. And I kept seeing younger people who'd joined the organisation before me who were moving up the ladder, and I just remained where I was. I'm not saying I should have got promoted, but I was very experienced and I was surprised when I didn't. But you had to go through many hoops to get promoted. An application form which was so hard. It took a long time to sort that out. It took a long time to actually get to grips with the application form, and then after that it was the interviews, which were quite tough, really. I did actually pass an interview board towards the end of my career, but I was put on a waiting list then, and nothing ever came of that. So other things as well were, I didn't feel that I got a lot of respect for what I did. And when people do become managers in where I work, they change. They become sort of like clones of each other. I don't think they're allowed to be a manager that they want to be. And the managers where I used to work were probably told and given targets to give feedback or to micromanage. And so in the spring of 2024, when that same colleague told me that he was retiring, I said, right. And I said, how did you do that then? So he told me how he did it, and I mulled over it for a little bit, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do the same. And in the August of that year, last year, I retired. And now I work part-time for the local council, and it's a totally different job. And it's part-time, so I've got my pension from where I retired, it's my lump sum, and I live off that and my part-time work, which is, there's other stuff out there, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you are quiet quitting, there are other options for you, and that was an option for me Whether or not I'll stay doing it, I don't know. It's, like I said, it's very different, but it's rewarding, and there's no managers breathing down your neck, and I'm not going through the motions. I feel like I have a real purpose. Sounds corny, doesn't it? So yeah, there are other options out there. Anyway, thanks for watching. You know the drill. Hit the like, subscribe, comment. I would love to know your thoughts on quiet quitting. Are you quiet quitting, and what are you doing about it, if anything at all? Thank you.